You are a lesbian. And how did you become a lesbian?
I think it's not something you become, it's something you realize. So I guess I've always been one.
In a world like today, with all these gender equality and these gender issues and things that are going on and these identifications that we have to live in and live with, this right here, where we're just getting ready to watch, is going to point out exactly why we need to do something about this and exactly why people are getting lost and people are getting trapped into this community and into this way of life, and they should not be there. Let's get into this. Let's check it out.
Are you a lesbian?
I am a lesbian.
You are a lesbian. And how did you become a lesbian?
I think it's not something you become, it's something you realize. So I guess I've always been one.
What made you realize I'm a lesbian?
Are we gonna get dirty? Because I can tell you the real story, or I can give you like a...
I want to know the real story.
Okay, so I fell in love with a girl.
At what age?
I was 19, and it was in my philosophy class in college, and I thought she was a boy. And then she told me she was a girl, and I already had a crush on her, and I was like, but I'm not a lesbian.
You didn't fall in love with a girl. You thought she was a boy. You were falling in love with a boy. That's my first point on that. Let's keep this going.
But then it like just really messed with me. And then she was a lesbian. And then I was like, I hate my own vagina. I'm not gonna like somebody else's vagina.
That's typically how we're programmed to be, guys and girls.
Then I tasted and came out the next day.
Amazing. And so, and this happened at the age of 19?
Yeah.
And prior, from 1 to 19, there was nothing about you that caused you to think you were a lesbian or interested in women?
No, I was from a very religious town, and I was very religious, and then what I was taught was that gay is a sin, and that's what bad people do, and I'm a good person, so
Right.
that I never even imagined that as a possibility.
And
Now, before we keep going, I noticed that she said that that's what bad people do, and I don't want to put like that much of a label on it. Like, there is a label on it, and I'm not watering it down. Let's get that straight. But I don't really want to say that it's for bad people and it's what bad people do, because there's a process to things when it comes to Christ, and there is a stage, and there's stages that he takes each and every one of us through. So someone may be in their stage right now in life where that might be a struggle that they're dealing with, but that doesn't mean that God can't get them out of it. Let's keep this going.
this person that you fell in love with, when you were looking at this person, you thought it was a boy, so you thought you were falling in love with a boy.
Well, we kind of like passed notes back and forth in class and like made fun of our philosophy professor together. So I didn't have a lot of like one-on-one looking at her. So yeah, she was always like sitting behind me in class. So.
That's amazing.
But she thought it was a boy. And that's the main point right there. The fact that she thought it was a boy. Yeah, you didn't get much FaceTime with her. Yeah, you guys didn't see each other much. But the reality of it is, even without seeing each other, you're automatically going to assume that this is a boy. Now, the fact that it came out to be a girl, it doesn't mean that you're automatically a lesbian. It doesn't mean that you're gay automatically. That's not the case. What happens is just because someone is able to say nice things to you and make you feel good and make you feel good about yourself, those are also good characteristic traits of a good friend, not necessarily a romantic or sexual partner. And I believe that this girl knows this, as she said a little bit that she grew up this way, and she grew up a way of having an understanding of what it came to when it, involved homosexuality. And that was not something that you were supposed to do. And that was her understanding. That was her upbringing. So I definitely believe that she has that knowledge, and she knows that what she's doing and what the life that she's living is not necessarily the life that she should be living. But this is what's confusing people, is the new gender identities and the fact that you have women that are starting to look like men, and then you also have men who are starting to look like women, and they're having these, transformations that they go through. And this is what's happening in this society. And you have someone like this who had one upbringing and had one understanding, and now she got invested and involved with a person, and she thought it was something innocent. And even herself, she said, I never in my life even thought that I would be interested in something like that. I'm barely even interested in the anatomy that I obtain myself, let alone that of someone else's. That totally makes sense. As I said, that's something that each and every one of us should be believed. I believe that's naturally wired. And that's my opinion. But in these situations, you have people that get confused, and I believe that is exactly what she is. I believe that she is confused. She had a situation where she connected with an individual, like most people do on a daily basis, connected with an individual, felt close with them, felt that they could relate, and with enough time and with enough focus and with enough attention, she found herself more interested in this woman who she thought was a boy. But she found herself more interested in this woman than she thought she was going to be. I think this is confusion. I don't think this is something that she knows that she should be in. Most people talk about it and they say that this is something that they've always been. They were born this way, but she even gave it a different, explanation in the beginning where she said, I don't think this is something that you become. I just think it's something that you realize. So it was just one experiment. It was one situation that made her realize that she may or even may not be lesbian. Let's keep this going.
And so you went home that day and said, hey, Dad, hey, Mom, I'm a lesbian?
I'm an orphan, so it didn't really happen like that. I just kind of came out to my roommates and friends, and yeah, I didn't come out to my grandma until years later.
Had you dealt with boys prior to that?
I had dated boys. I think I had a boyfriend, or maybe it was like phasing out when I fell in love with her. I think it was like the end, the breakup time or whatever.
And so had you had...
And I think it really wasn't phasing out. If I can just give my honest opinion, just completely on the outstand here, I don't think it was phasing out. I think in these situations, like I said, with the confusion and the relationship that she was obviously growing with this girl, she was thinking that it was supposed to be a romantic relationship. Therefore, she went in with that type of relationship with that person, making the relationship that she had with the boy she was with seeming like it wasn't the best situation. I think that was just a situation where the devil just does what he does best, and that is sparkle things and put light on things and shine light on things in a way to make it seem like other things are good. The grass is greener on his side instead of the grass being greener, like people say, where you water it. I don't think that, I don't know, she just didn't strike me as someone who would be in a situation or be tough to be in a relationship with or whatever. So I don't think, that's just not my belief, my standpoint on it. She had a relationship with boys before. She's been in other relationships with boys before. This is how we're wired. My stance is that we are wired heterosexually. That is how we are wired. There's no other way around that. I understand that there's other desires that people have and there's other experiences that people experience. But that doesn't defeat the fact that we are by nature, I believe, heterosexual. That is definitely how God created us. And you have situations like this where people like this, like I said, that they're confused and then they get more confused because they get into situationships and they get into atmospheres and places and they surround themselves with people and things and all these new aged ideas that start to make what they've always known. So if you know, you know. And if you know your understanding and you have that foundation of your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and you know what's in the Bible and you know what's supposed to be going on. I know what the world says. I know what's out there. I know the bashing that Christians get because of the beliefs and the standpoints that they have. No one said this walk was going to be easy, but hey, the Christians that are out here and we're pushing it and we're doing what we need to do, we understand the importance of this walk and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to shed light on these things and continue to talk about them too. So I thank you guys for tuning in. I thank you guys for staying this long you guys have. I appreciate it. This is all I have for you guys on this topic. I thank you once again. I'm out.